Hey, love bugs. Let me fix the phone. Let me fix my phone. So I wanted to, first of all, you already know. I hope everybody is doing well. I send everybody the highest vibration of love, strength, perseverance, endurance, all of that good, beautiful energy I share from my heart to yours. So I wanted to just talk about something because I'm not going to say something happened the other day where it triggered me, but it reminded me, okay, of something. And then I've also mentioned it in videos before, like where I would say, I don't have friends. And I was like, I'll come back and talk about that. Yeah, I always do that in my videos. Like, oh yeah, I'll come back and I'll talk about it. I'm not comfortable. So let me sit it at. Let me sit it at. Okay. There we go. I thought that was gonna work me laying down, but no. So I just decided to come on and talk about it now. So, there was when I was young or whatever. Uh, I'm not gonna say I had a lot of close friends, but I had a lot of friends, a lot of associates, a lot of people who I mingled with. Um, I did stuff outside of school with and things like that. Now, thinking back in hindsight, even as being young, being an adolescent, being a child, right? I never felt comfortable with the people who I was friends with. Okay, I did. And that goes even going back to hanging with like cousins, female cousins specifically, or whatever. I just never felt comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I just never felt comfortable. So, um, it was like my soul knew I was supposed to be a loner, but because I wasn't in my truest self and my truest power, I did things. And plus, it's normal to have friends or whatever and acquaintances or whatever when as you're young. So, anyways, the one specific thing that kind of was that I remembered. Well, let me just go back a little bit. A few months ago, I was at the grocery store in the neighborhood where I grew up, right? And I was, they ring up your groceries, and I was there with my son, and I was putting my stuff in the bag, and I seen somebody who I used to hang with way back in the day, because when I was in high school, I went to a high school where on a college campus, okay, junior college. So I was able all through my high school years, I was able to take college courses, and so I became, I had acquaintances and stuff like that. So there was one particular person who, the three people who was in my friend group, we became cool with. And she, to me, like thinking back, and this is not me being shady or nothing, she seemed very, um, what's the word? Not say immature, but because she was a few years older than us, she seemed very delayed. Okay, because I'm not trying to be shady, but like now, even when I was in my 20s, I thought it was something a little delayed about her, like it's a little off. Like she was definitely not your average 20-some-year-old. She was very meek. She was very shy, but then she was very she had a very dirty energy. You know what I mean? Like two-faced type of energy. But and I know this is gonna sound like crazy, like Indigo, you are best. But like punkish energy. Like I'll talk behind your back, but if I'm confronted with it, I'm gonna maneuver my way out of saying what I said. That type of energy, right? So, and different things happen to people in different points in their lives that make them the way they are. Now, that's not me judging, that's just my observation, you know? But nevertheless, so what came to me, so anyways, I seen her, let me just say this. A few months ago, me and my son were at the store. This was like months ago. I see her at the store. She's with somebody. And she was looking at me. She looked different. She looked better. And I was like, oh, I just recognized her because I don't have nothing to say to you. So I just recognized her. We were cool and we were cool and that's it. Like, I'm not the type of person that's like, oh yeah, let's go hang out. I seen you. We used to be friends however long ago. And I'm not that type of person. I'm very comfortable being a loner. if that's what you want to call it. Or I'm just somebody, I enjoy the company of myself. You know what I'm saying? I talk to people from time to time. I connect with people. I have people in my soul tribe. But as far as like friends, no. So let me just get back to, because I know I'm like all over the place. We were in class. It was me and two of the people that I used to hang with. And she was in class, and one of the girls was a little bit more dignified, had a little bit more sense than the other one. And she told me something that this person said about me that was very derogatory. Very derogatory. And not only was it derogatory and it was untrue, but it was very much left field. Like, damn, why she say that? You know what I mean? Where did that come from? You know, because I was cool with her. And incidentally, even Alea, oh no, I want you to be quiet. Okay? Let me pause it. And incidentally, we ended up being quiet. I told my grandbaby to be quiet. We ended up being cool, like later on after I graduated from high school, right? She was very needy. She was very, and I'm gonna go into some stuff. I'm going somewhere with this, okay? So anyway, she said something derogatory about me. One of the young ladies, I'm kind of cool with her even now to this day. I wouldn't necessarily say we're friends, but I'm cool. We ain't never had no falling out. I ain't never known her to say anything about me. I don't know. Maybe she did. I don't put nothing past nobody, okay? I'm not a negative, pessimistic person. I just learned through my experience in life to not put things past people, because the people who you consider the closest ones will do you the dirtiest. The people who you don't take a chance on, the people who you be standoffish with, those sometimes are the people who will treat you better than the ones you give all the, glory to, or whatever you want to call it. So I was just thinking about this because she was a Virgo. Not that it has anything to do with anything. I'm just saying, I have been close to quite a few Virgos in my day. Not that has anything to do with anybody being a Virgo, and not to say I had anything, because I'm not. Virgos isn't one of those signs. So when I think about people or whatever, and you're not supposed to judge people based on their sun sign, but it's just one of them signs. This particular person was a Virgo. Let's just put it like that, okay? And she was older than me, but she acted way younger than me. And she always took a backseat position. Now, when we got cool again, I was out of high school for a couple of years, and it was going into me getting pregnant around the time I got pregnant with my daughter. And she had a child, actually, okay? And she lived with her grandmother, and I liked her grandmother. Her grandmother gave me some really good advice at one point. And I don't ever forget certain things, you know what I mean? But this is the thing. Okay, because I don't want to go into all the connections and all the relationships and everything like that, because I've had a lot of connections and relationships and friendships with women, and this is the thing. The majority of them, with the exception of a couple of them, okay, from school time, going to college, going to work, the majority of the friendships crumbled, right? And was toxic either in the midst of the relationships or after now. I'm saying very clearly, and I'm always the type of person that's going to take accountability, period. A lot of it has to do with the pain and the scars and my trauma and everything like that, okay? Now, I want to say something else. Now, the relationship between you and your parental figure, whoever that is, whether it's your actual blood parents, step parents, foster parents, aunts, I don't know, it really don't matter, sets the foundation for all your relationships, okay? Now, was my mother, and I always say this, okay? My mother was nurturing. My mother was nurturing in the earliest stages of my life. Very accommodating, very loving, very much in my corner. Even when I got older, she was in my corner. Okay, I can give you numerous amount of times. But when you, and you already know this was going to go into this. When you are not aware, very specifically aware of your pain, you will take it into every connection and relationship. So you might think at some point where, this person is just, I just got bad luck with connections or relationships or whatever the case is. You have to look at the foundation, the seeds that were planted. Okay. Now, me and my mom had a period, and definitely I would say in high school, where we drifted apart. It just wasn't the same anymore. And I'm gonna have to do a part two. I just feel like my parents, I bump all that. I know my parents stopped understanding me. Because when you're young, your parents can have certain control over you. But when you begin to come into your own and establish who you are, personality wise, character wise, just all types of, just across the board, a lot of times when they have this ideal of how they want you to be, and then you go in the opposite direction, they don't know how to connect with you, relate to you, talk to you. You know what I mean? And especially if they're, I'm just saying, most parents, I grew up in the 80s and 90s and stuff, but like most parents are reared and raised to do things in a very specific way. Work, take care of you, send your children to school. My stomach growling. Just take care of all the mundane things. So when it comes to your emotional world, your emotional needs, most parents aren't understanding of how to do that. You know what I mean? So anyways, you guys, I believe this at part one. I'm definitely going to do a part two, but I wanted to start this somewhere because I love you guys. Peace.